I was saying, y'all, it's your boy Rico from Street Scores, and I felt like it was a good time to update y'all on the 114 confirmed targeted 2023 NFL draft prospects that the Commanders are interested in. Again, confirmed through various avenues, different sources, different reports, things like that. Of course, the link to the PDF is in the comment section as a pinned comment. It's in the description of this video. If you want to look at any of this at any time, it's for free. Just click that right there. Make sure you share it to everybody. Keep it for yourself, whatever. If you're doing your mock drafts, use this as a reference. If you're trying to do a more realistic one, because again, all of these guys, all 114 of them, these are confirmed interests through different reports. It could be a Senior Bowl meeting, it can be a combine meeting, an informal meeting, a formal meeting, a top 30 private visit brought to Ashburn, virtual visit, private workout, us attending their pro days, all of that type of stuff. So man, matter of fact, go ahead and have that PDF on the side while we're going through this on this video. I just want to cover some major things because of course with this PDF being free for all of y'all to access, I don't want to just name and list off all 114 prospects. We will be here for 3 hours, but I want to take a look at some of the most notable prospects, especially some of my favorite players, and of course some of the prospects that we've shown the most interest in, whether we've talked to them multiple times, we brought them in for visits more than once, things like that. So I want to take a look at some of the guys that we are most likely to take, and also I want to break down, now that we're over 100 prospects, what are some of this team's biggest needs, just based off of how many guys they've talked to in the projected rounds for some of these guys as well. Like for example, have we shown interest in a lot of offensive linemen? And if so, are we looking to potentially take one in the first round? Because even though we've talked to a whole lot of offensive linemen, doesn't necessarily mean that we're interested in any first round projected ones. Maybe we'll wait until the second round or later to get one. So we're going to dive into all of that and more. But before we do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell next to the subscription button so you get notification immediately. And every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one, make sure you pull up every Sunday for the Commanders call-in live stream show. Of course, this upcoming one is going to be very draft heavy. Again, man, it's already February 17th. I have 10 days to do 2 mock drafts. I may do one tonight or tomorrow. It's going to be defensive based, and then I want to do my most realistic one that's going to be based primarily off this list who we're interested in. It's going to be my attempt to get as many right as possible. So make sure you stay tuned for those. And of course, I'm trying to work on film sessions for draft prospect players. So many things to do, such little time. So stay tuned, coming out with 2 to 3 videos a day. And without further ado, let's get it. All right, so these are a lot of the first round projected players that we are interested in. It starts with Christian Gonzalez and goes all the way down to DJ Turner. Lots of corners, lots of offensive linemen, DBs in general, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, and everything else is literally offensive line and defensive back. So that pretty much goes to show that we are very likely to take offensive line or defensive back in the first round, like I already thought we would. But I mean, putting this list together like I have, and shouts out to all of the Commanders reporters that have put this information out there. I'm just compiling the information and putting it into an organized fashion. It's just looking like this is what it's gonna be. Now, out of the guys that are projected to go in the first round, the guys that we've shown the most interest in are Joey Porter, the corner out of Penn State, and Devon Witherspoon, corner out of Illinois, as well as DeJuan Jones, offensive tackle from Ohio State, which is really interesting because he's more of a right tackle, and we just signed Andrew Wiley, who's projected to be our starting right tackle, as Rivera has already said in an interview before. So that's really interesting. And then even if you scroll a little bit further down, you have Darnell Wright, who we've met with in 3 different ways. You have Osiris Torrance, the interior offensive lineman from Florida, 3 as well. But then you scroll further down, projected 4th round, they've shown serious interest in Zach Kuntz, with a combine meeting, going to his pro day, and a virtual visit. And then 4 times Alex Forsyth, interior offensive lineman from Oregon. So if you want to have to bet your money on who we may try to take in the 4th round, interior offensive lineman Alex Forsyth from Oregon, 4 ways that we've shown interest. Formal meeting at combine, met with him informally another time, a private visit where he came to Ashburn, and we went to his pro day. Now, of course, we more than likely went to that Oregon pro day for Christian Gonzalez, but he may be out of reach for us. I mean, there could be an argument that we probably went there to really get a good look at him as well. And then that's it for the 3s and hires. Now we have a bunch of 2s and 1s, but I mean, Jahan Dotson wasn't on this list at all last year, and we took him in the first round. So this isn't the end all be all, but it is a good reference points for who we're interested in, and most importantly, which positions we're interested in and what rounds we may be willing to take them. Which takes me to this list right here. We're not even necessarily going to pay attention to this because this hasn't changed in all of the videos that I've done. Even after free agency, I don't necessarily feel like we need to change this. So moving on from that, suggested big needs, we have 32 offensive linemen out of the 114 confirmed targeted prospects, 25 defensive backs, and then there's like a nice little gap. That's why I put the lines there. Then you have tight end, defensive line, linebacker, running back, wide receiver, and quarterback is the next group. And then you have one kicker and one returner out of the 114 guys. Returner is a slept on need, man. That's why I have it somewhere in the middle. And third down back, I'm gonna do a video on this, but we may not want to worry about that because you can always just end up getting like Jerick McKinnon after the draft. I mean, the Commanders have shown since Ron Rivera has been here that they like to sign some guys after the draft. I mean, we got Charles Leno after the draft, and he's our starting left tackle. You never know. Just because free agency has been around since March and just because the draft just happened does not mean we're done adding veterans in free agency. So even though Eric Bieniemy has already talked about how he does plan on bringing in a potential third down back or something like that, another running back, and it's actually a higher need than what most fans probably think it should be, they could probably just address that with Jerick McKinnon later. But that doesn't have a lot to do with what we're talking about today. But again, like I said earlier, just because we have a lot of offensive linemen that we're interested in, it doesn't necessarily mean that we were going to take one in the first round, but it does show that according to the Draft Network's big board rankings, the highest offensive tackle that we've shown interest in is the 8th overall prospect in this entire draft. So it's quite likely that we could go cornerback or offensive line in the first round. But safety, if you want to address safety, you may be able to wait till the second round for that. And even though we've shown interest in 9 running backs, which is quite a bit, the highest projected running back in this upcoming draft is the 95th player overall. So we can wait till like the 3rd round to potentially get that guy if we wanted to go running back. Because we've shown interest in 9 running backs does not necessarily mean we're going to take one in the first 2 rounds. Same thing with linebacker. A lot of us feel like linebacker is a pretty big need, and the Commanders have shown interest in 10 of them in this upcoming draft. And yet the highest projected linebacker is 86th overall on the Draft Network's big board. Now, of course, this Draft Network's big board is not the end all be all, but I just like to stay consistent with the same big board year to year, and with how they use so many people to come up with a consensus big board. This is not just one person or a couple of people. This is a big group of people, like dozens of people contributing to this big board. So it may not be entirely accurate, but it's the one I trust the most just in general. And they just feel like the highest linebacker that we're interested in we could potentially get late in the second, early 3rd. And don't sleep on edge rusher, because even though we've shown interest in 10 defensive linemen, most of them have been edge rushers. And there's a chance we could even take an edge rusher in the second round. It's already been reported, I'm not sure if Ron Rivera said it himself, but there was a trustworthy source that said that the Commanders may look to draft an edge rusher way sooner than what fans think, because we're not going to be able to pay Chase Young and Montez Sweat. I highly doubt it. I mean, luckily, you saw Jalen Hurts got his money. Daniel Jones already got his. Dak Prescott got his a couple of years ago. We're lucky. We have a starting caliber quarterback on a rookie deal, getting paid pennies compared to the rest of our division. So if there were a team that could pay 4 defensive linemen top money, it's us. But I still don't even think it's likely, even with Sam Howell as our quarterback. We still got to see Sam Howell go out there and ball out for it to even matter. But I am hopeful that he could go out there and at the very least be a top 20, top 15 quarterback, and on a rookie deal, that is how you have an open Super Bowl window. You're able to use all of your resources, allocate all of your money and cap space towards other positions of need and pay those guys top dollar. And if your quarterback is outplaying his current contract and you're paying high talent guys around him, that's a good window to make a Super Bowl and to at least compete for one. So I'm really excited. But don't sleep on the fact that we could try to go cheap and try to replace Chase Young and or Montez Sweat with an edge rusher this draft. You already get them this year. They're already in your system. They're learning how Jack Del Rio likes to run his defense. They're learning behind Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And if one of those guys ends up leaving us to go to another team, it's already being reported that other teams are watching and monitoring the Commander situation on Chase Young and Montez Sweat, because it's very unlikely that we'll be able to pay both of those guys. So teams are already trying to find a way to grab one of them from us. So if one of those guys is gone, you already have an edge rusher that's been in the system for over a year already that could potentially be ready to start by the time one of those guys leaves. And it's not like you're drafting a rookie and expecting expecting that guy to start in 2024. So we'll see. I mean, this is just a lot of future hypothetical stuff, but I'm just letting you know why edge rusher is quite likely to be drafted sooner than you think, like within the first 3 rounds. Me personally, even just based off of this list, I'm thinking corner or offensive line in the first round, especially like tackle, unless you love an interior offensive lineman. Say we trade back and you want to get like John Michael Schmitz. I think that would be a great idea. But you can go corner or offensive line in the first. Honestly, with as deep as this cornerback draft is, I would probably go offensive line in the first, because you can get Julius Brents in the second and be perfectly happy. And then to potentially be able to get linebacker Deion Henley in the third, I mean, that's a home run draft to me. Oh man, Zach Evans, how far are we falling? I mean, I remember as a Georgia Bulldog fan recruiting him, and then he committed to us, and he was supposed to be our star running back coming up, and then he got into some trouble, and then Kirby Smart was like, yeah, nah, I'm good. And then he's bounced around to 2 other college teams after Georgia. And I know that's just a random tangent, but you know, I'm heavy into recruiting. I'm following this whole Dylan Raiola and all of this type of stuff, and KJ Bolden. Y'all know I'm heavy into that type of stuff. So I watched these guys from high school to college all the way to the NFL, and it's just, you know, when I see names like Zach Evans, a certified 5-star, the #1 running back of his high school recruiting class, and just to where he's ended up, a team may end up getting a sleeper in him in the 3rd round. Doesn't really have much to do with the Commanders, even though we have shown interest in them. I doubt we take him in this draft, especially in the 3rd round, but you never know. He's a sleeping giant, a 5-star talent for a reason. Maybe an NFL team can get him right, but you never know, man. I mean, so far I've had to project, I'm definitely thinking offensive lineman in the 1st round. If it were up to me, we're trading back, unless one of these top guys like Christian Gonzalez or Broderick Jones or maybe Devon Witherspoon falls to us at 16, then you take those guys, the top talents. But other than that, I trade back, maybe get John Michael Schmitz or DeJuan Jones or one of my top guys, Darnell Wright. I love Darnell Wright. I'm as high on Darnell Wright as Chris Sims is. I really believe in Darnell Wright, and I agree with Chris Sims as well, is the fact that, like, even if you see Darnell Wright as a starting right tackle and not a left tackle, at this point in the NFL, right tackle is almost as important as left tackle. The only difference is the blind spot of the quarterback. But throughout the course of a game, you're gonna end up blocking against Nick Bosa almost equally as much with how much they move around on the defensive line and things like that. So it really doesn't matter that much, even though I would prefer him at left tackle. If he's more comfortable at right tackle, do that. And then we'll work on left tackle later on down the line. Andrew Wiley can play guard if you need him to. Chase Roulier, when healthy, is your starting center. Samuel Cosme is the right guard. Charles Leno, again, is your starting left tackle for now. And then you look to upgrade that position. Hopefully, we can somehow get our hands on that guy from Penn State. And then that's your starting left tackle of the future. And then you have Darnell Wright as your starting right tackle of the future. And then you have a top 5 offensive line in the NFL. But this is just me doing a lot of hypotheticals, just having fun with it. I mean, that's the purpose of this draft. That's the purpose of all of this stuff, projections and hypotheticals. So that's why I'm having fun. I just love this type of stuff. So again, trade back, get John Michael Schmitz, somehow find a way to end up getting Darnell Wright and Darnell Washington in the 2nd round, get my boy Deion Henley in the 3rd, go ahead and take Hendon Hooker in the 4th while you're at it. And I don't even care what happens with the rest of the draft at that point. I mean, we won the draft in my opinion at that point, honestly. And even if you don't want to go Hendon Hooker, if you want to take like Jartavius Martin, the safety from Illinois, instead of Hendon Hooker, man, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I think that's an amazing draft. Or you can finesse it to where, okay, Broderick Jones maybe slides to us at 16th overall. Take him at tackle. Darnell Wright in the 2nd, my boy. Deion Henley at the linebacker spot in the 3rd. I'm big on that. I'm going to keep preaching that. And then Alex Forsythe in the 4th? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we can have so much fun with this. Again, the link to this PDF is in the description of the video. It's in the comment section as the pinned comment. You can have as much fun with this as you want. Again, if you want to use this for mock drafts, do what you got to do. Have fun. And before we get up out of here, of course, I just want to update y'all on the pro days attended. I mean, we've already talked about this. I've already shown y'all this, but I could just scroll through real quick again. You have access to the PDF if you want to stop and look at it, but I'm just doing a quick scroll. You can also, of course, pause the video. Then when it comes to top 30 visits, and you know, you could put as much stock into this as you want. It's really up to you, but these are the guys that have come in for top 30 private visits, like all the way to Ashburn, or they technically visited like virtually or whatever. But you're limited to only 30 visits every draft cycle, every year. And so these do kind of matter. But again, Jahan Dotson, we saw no interest in him. We didn't bring him in for a visit. We didn't talk to him at the combine or nothing. We took him in the first round. So again, put as much stock into this as you want. But so far, excluding the 5 guys that have been confirmed to go to the Commanders Pro Day that was April 11th, we have 26 confirmed private visits so far. So they haven't used all of that 30 that we know of so far. We'll see if the list gets updated and if we get the full 30 list eventually. But as of right now, we have 26 top 30 visits and 5 guys that we know for a fact was at the Washington Commanders local pro day in Ashburn, April 11th. And again, the link to this PDF is free in the description of the video and in the comment section as the pinned comment, so you can do with this whatever you want to. Again, go crazy with the mock drafts. I'll probably do one last update of this list like right before the draft, maybe like a couple of days before. You know, the draft starts Thursday, maybe like Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll do like the final confirmed list of prospects that we're interested in, and it will probably be like 130 or more. We'll see, but man, I'm gonna definitely keep y'all updated on this. I appreciate all of the support, man. Shouts out to all of my sponsors, especially my Pro Bowl sponsors. Name you see scrolling on the screen right now. Please leave a like on this video if you liked it, if you learned anything, and of course let me know in the comment section all of your opinions on everything. Now this, I'm gonna have to update this. I haven't updated this in particular because the Draft Network has rearranged their updated rankings in their big boards for a lot of these guys, and I still got to go through and make those changes before we do this. But this, we know this for a fact so far, and of course there's other players that they're interested in that we haven't gotten reports about. It's probably way more than this, but so far these are the confirmed ones, and this is what I believe in more than anything else. So make sure you stay tuned with that. Of course, again, leave a like on this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Get in the comment section, let me know how you feel about everything, about the players that we're interested in, how much we're interested in all of these players, who are some guys that are not on this list that you hope that the Commanders find a way to get interested in and may eventually take in the draft. Again, I'm gonna keep saying it, we did not have Jahan Dotson anywhere in this last year when I did this last year, and we still took him in the first round. No visits, no meeting at the combine, no nothing. So you never know. But yeah, man, I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.